be talking about the issue of Sharia law. Sharia law has been like a stumbling block to the progress of a lot of people in Nigeria. Before, we were made to understand that the Sharia law was instituted in Nigeria just for personal reasons, for people's belief, especially in the states, in the northern part of the country. And as time goes on, we started seeing different things entirely. And as I speak to you today, we have seen a lot of barbaric things that people have committed in the name of Sharia law. And the questions that people are putting across today is, if we come out to say that Nigeria is a secular state, that Nigeria is a state that allows all belief for religions, why is it that people cannot practice in peace what they believe in some part of the country you call a nation? So with this, the United States of America, as you know, has told the Nigerian government, you must bring to the end of Sharia law, you must abolish Sharia law, you must abolish the law of blasphemy. And a lot of people are kicking against it. And for those of you who do not understand what Sharia law is all about, I think I will make you to understand it in this video. And for those of you who do not know the negative impact Sharia law has caused in this country and why Nigeria must not remain with Sharia law. It's just a matter of two options. Anybody who wants to practice Sharia must have their own country to practice it. You can no longer continue to practice, a law that is not acceptable, that is contrary to the common law of everybody, and you said you belong to that country. It will never happen because Sharia is a tool of so many terrorist groups, including Boko Haram, ISWAP, Mahmouda. They said they want a Sharia state. So they are leveraging on Sharia to commit a lot of atrocities. Now, before Sharia was put into Nigerian constitution, there was a senator and former governor who made sure that, he pushed it very well. He's Sani Yerima. So let us understand his intention and why they brought Sharia into the Nigeria.
Well, you see, people don't know what Sharia is all about. First of all, Sharia is the principles and practice of Islam. You can't separate Sharia from Islam. They are one and one. So any Muslim who tells you that he doesn't want to live his life according to Sharia, then he's not a Muslim.
Do you think Nigeria should become a Sharia nation?
That is my ambition, and that is the ambition of every Muslim in this country.
So, as a leader, governor, chairman, president, you are expected to run your affairs with the dictates of Sharia. So, as a leader, governor, chairman, president, you are expected to run your affairs with the dictates of Sharia.
Just listen to this again. Just pay attention.
Says National Assembly shall not make any law that affects Islamic law. This second schedule. So this amendment is against second schedule item 60.
Well, you see, people don't know what Sharia is all about. First of all, Sharia is the principles and practice of Islam. You can't separate Sharia from Islam. They are one and one. So any Muslim who tells you that he doesn't want to live his life according to Sharia, then he's not a Muslim, because he doesn't even know what is Islam. If you are a Muslim, you have to live your life according to the dictates of Sharia. From the time you are born up to the time you will marry, the relationship between you and your parents when you are small, your responsibility to them or their responsibility to you, the relationship between you and your wife, if you marry, how you will marry, your responsibility to your wife, then your responsibility to the neighbors, to the entire society, is all defined under Islam, under Sharia. That is what is called Sharia. It is not just the capital punishment that people are talking about. This is just part of one aspect of Sharia. The major aspect of Sharia is called mu'amala. That is how you relate to human beings, other human beings, even.
All right, sorry that I interrupted the video. Now, you listen to Sani Yerima. Sani Yerima is one of the pioneers of Sharia into Nigerian constitution, he made a statement that is like his mission statement about Sharia in Nigeria. Okay, he said that it is the ambition. I know that you know the meaning of ambition. When you said, I have the ambition to become a footballer, I have the ambition, that is what you are pursuing. You are putting a constant, like a constant force, a constant interest, a constant effort to achieve that thing. So he said that it is the ambition of every Muslim in Nigeria to convert Nigeria into a Sharia state. And you know, when this thing happened, you know the implication, right? Now, the reason why I'm telling you this, they told you that Sharia just belongs for people who believe it, that Sharia will not affect anybody. Sharia is not a bad thing. Somebody should tell me what kept Deborah. Deborah was a girl, a promising young girl. Her crime is that she was born and brought up in Nigeria. She was schooled in a place that have a Sharia law. They said she committed blasphemy and she was stoned to death. So if a Christian could be stoned to death, born to death, sorry, she was born alive. So if a Christian could be born alive because of Sharia, it's still Sharia for only Muslims. So these are the things I want us to discuss in this video. If you say that Sharia is just for Muslims, who told you? So why is Sharia affecting Christians? Or haven't you seen this issue here? Take a listen.
The recent incidents, the Apple shop controversy. The controversy surfaced recently in Apple District, Abuja, where a man's shop was sealed off by Sharia court over civil dispute. The man, reportedly not a Muslim, claimed he was unaware of any Sharia case against him until his business was locked by court official. The incident sparked outrage on social media and renewed public discourse about legal authority of Sharia court in the Federal Capital Territory, a jurisdiction that operates under secular Nigerian law, not religious law. Legal experts argue that while Muslims in the FCT may voluntarily seek dispute resolution through Sharia courts, those courts cannot impose judgment on non-Muslims. Civil rights groups have since called for clear boundaries to prevent future violations of citizens' rights to religious and legal freedom.
Area Council. I was in my shop 3 months ago. Some people just carry motor come. Said they are for Sharia court of Gudu. That they are cheap litigation and children visa has auctioned my shop. I told them that I don't have any case with them. Why should they auction my shop? I built this church in 2012. I rent their phone shop in number. I rent one to somebody. They said the person in the shop is showing them credit. I told the person owner, why don't you provide his goods? That the goods inside that shop, they don't care about the goods. They say what they know is they want to open that shop. I said the person should come to the court and tell the people I'm the owner of the shop. I go there. Even though I'm a Christian, I thought that why should a Christian go to Sharia court? They say I must come if I'm the owner, that they will leave me my shop and take all the documents to them. Even when I reach there, they even see the document, say they will do investigation. All I see today, they just come here, carry paper come, say that I was on the shop, that they are doing handover because I'm a Christian, because I'm Igbo, they collect my shop, Sharia court. Even if they will follow the law, as a Christian, what I have to do with Sharia court? They because what is happening in Nigeria, they carry my case here. Even when I appear, they did not need to me. They bring the other judge. They told them what happened. They remove the judge. Said that in charge of who they moving judge. They remove the judge. They just collected my goods, my shop for nothing.
Jurisdiction confusion. The Nigerian legal system operates on a dual structure: civil common law and Sharia law. Sharia courts have jurisdiction only over Muslims and matters where both parties voluntarily submit to its authority. However, enforcement agencies and court offices sometimes overstep these boundaries, applying Sharia judgments to non-Muslims or using Sharia-based decisions in mixed communities. These overlapping authorities often result in constitutional breaches, as seen in the Apple case and in the Sunday Jackson verdict. Human rights advocate stresses that such practice violates Section 38 of the Nigerian Constitution, which protects freedom of religion and belief. Why this matters? The Sharia court controversy is more than a legal technicality. It touches on the very fabric of Nigerian unity and diversity. Nigeria is a multi-religious secular nation, and ensuring justice for all citizens requires upholding constitutional safeguards. Supporters of Sharia law insist that it is an integral part of Islamic identity and culture, providing a moral compass for adherents. Yet, critics maintain that when applied beyond its intended scope, Sharia law can become a tool of exclusion and injustice, especially for non-Muslims caught within its.
All right, sorry that I also interrupted the video. I think I've gotten what I wanted to get from the video. As you can see, someone who is not a Muslim was taken to Sharia court, and Sharia court passed a law, and they came to knock his shop. They want to auction his shop. That was from a Sharia court. That was not from a Nigerian court. So if I am here trying to tell you about the implication of having a Sharia law in Nigeria, where you claim to say that Nigeria is a secular state, see, it is time for people to understand that the incompatibility of all these things can never be underestimated. Sharia can never be compatible to normal life of people. And people who say that Sharia is a normal life, I think it is time for people, they should be confined to a country where they can practice Sharia. Sharia have no place where people who do not know Sharia is. People are being killed, people are being destroyed, shops are being locked just because of Sharia. You say that Sharia is not for everybody. That was the disagreement that, spiked the Arise News. That was yesterday. I published the video. Where is the video again? Where Ruben Abati said that if you want to talk about Sharia law in Nigeria, there will be problem. And if you want to remove Sharia law in Nigeria, there will be problem. So if there will be problem because I want to talk about what is killing people, what is destroying lives, and there will be problem, hey, it means that the Sharia is actually the problem. Okay? That is to say that the Sharia is actually the problem. Just take a glimpse of what transpired. I've talked about this video before, but for some of you who have not seen it.
The other thing you raised is the Sharia.
Yes.
Now it was Dr. Ebenezer Obadare, he used to be one of our colleagues in those early days, who recommended that two solutions to address the problem in Nigeria. Put pressure on the Nigerian government to do a lot more. Then ban Sharia in 12 northern states, and also ban the Isba units.
Yes.
Well, the thing to note is that the Sharia law is in fact in the Constitution of Nigeria. I think I said this about 2 days ago. In sections 275, 279. And its jurisdiction is civil. It's not a criminal orthodoxy, as some people are trying to define it in the United States. It means that the Sharia law can only apply to persons who have elected to be tried under the Sharia law. And we have Sharia Court of Appeal. We have in some of these states, where you have the Sharia. And in any case, it's a federal system.
Yeah.
Some states, that say, oh, we want to adopt this kind of system of law, are allowed to do so. But that law should not apply to people who do not subscribe to it. So you cannot use Sharia law now to punish Christians.
Yes, and so
I do not think that President Tinubu has the powers to unilaterally say, oh, he will declare Sharia law unconstitutional. In fact, that would be a prescription for chaos, for conflict. In fact, it will worsen the situation because persons from those 12 northern states and religious leaders who, since 1978 Constitutional Conference, insisted on the Sharia being accommodated as a personal orthodoxy. They will be the ones to now rise up in arms. So in trying to solve a problem in Nigeria, you create another problem.
All right. We have often seen, like you have said, that the Sharia law should not be used to persecute Christians, right? But we have seen that happen. I think we've discussed this at length. Ayo,
yes,
even recently we've seen...
Now it's inching closer.
Yes.
And the truth is that we need to also decide whether or not Nigeria is a secular state or not.
Correct.
If we say that Nigeria is a secular state, then we cannot have sports whereby a particular religious law is allowed. So we need to make that decision. And I did mention at the beginning of this conversation around Christian genocide that we must have uncomfortable conversations around Sharia law in some states. I also believe that it's important to find out to what extent the Christians living in those... we've seen incidents where it crosses over. It always crosses over at a while. And that's where the challenge is. If something was was instituted or called upon, if we see that it has a negative effect, we can go back to the conversation, revisit it, and actually find out if it's still working.
Except that Sharia is not a religion.
I Sharia religious group.
The Sharia court. The Constitution says there shall be no state religion.
Correct.
In any part. And there's no state of Nigeria where they say you must only be Muslims or you must only be Christians.
Yeah, but the point she's making
is a system of judicial administration
that applies to only a particular religious group.
Or whoever submits to it.
Yes.
But it's mainly the religious
so let me tell you why she's talking about why we're talking about this, because only recently I think we saw a man's store that was closed down in Abuja and said it was a Sharia court that repossessed his property. And we have seen some of these.
No Sharia in the EFCC.
Well, that was the conversation.
In the state where it was brought before.
It was brought before.
And so there are inches.
So it was in the state it was brought before.
Closer,
so exactly, because the people that were persecuting were, using the Sharia court to do that. And so, like Ayo has said, this is a situation where these laws are inching and also persecuting people that have not subscribed to it. For example, we saw Deborah, the killing of Deborah, who was blasphemous, and she was killed. She was burned. But she was Christian, and they used the blasphemy law to persecute her. So, these are the sort of conversations that are uncomfortable and need to be had. If we have to revisit the conversation, we should open it again on the table. And this is my thought. The Constitution is being reviewed all the time, Dr. Bat, isn't it?
No, we're talking about Sharia law. I'm saying it will cause a lot of problems.
Well,
I don't think President Tinubu needs to go in that direction.
Well, that's your advice. But the Nigerian people are saying that these are the conversations.
Sometimes when you think that some people are smart, when you think that some people are actually what you think they are, they will always come out to prove to you that they are not what they are. Now, we are talking about the issue of Sharia law. Look at the crew, Rice crew. They were trying to tell Reuben Abati, come on, look at it. This thing is overstepping. They killed Deborah for this. Sunday Jackson was sentenced to death. They said that it's not Nigerian law they use, even though they went to a Supreme Court, because it was Sharia law that first sentenced him to death. And Nigerian court upheld it. And look at this man in Abuja. Sharia court issued a warrant. They locked his shop. So where are we going from here? Like what? And one of the things that triggers my emotion is that United Kingdom, whether it is Great Britain or not, every day now they are protesting that they don't want Sharia in their state, as you can see on the screen. They are protesting that they don't want Sharia in their state, they don't want this. But these are the people who came into the country and amalgamated Nigerians. The people, they know that these people don't have the same value, these people don't have the same culture, these people don't have anything in common. See, the incompatibility in Nigeria will never make Nigerian work. The earlier we realize that there is a problem. Now, before some people will get me wrong, I am not trying to say that I hate some people. No, I'm not preaching hate. I'm not preaching religion here. I'm talking reality out of issues. I have good numbers of Muslim friends. They love me and I love them. Do you know why they love me? I don't pretend. And the reason why I love them, they don't pretend. They told me that this country one day will become a Sharia country. Do you get it? They told me that one day this country will become a Sharia country, and I don't pretend if I'm telling them what I have in mind. That is the kind of my life. I'm not the kind of person that pretends. Anything in my mind, I speak it out. Okay? So that is the kind of person I am. So if the Great Britain, like what I'm showing you, are protesting every day that they don't need Sharia in the United Kingdom, they don't need Sharia in their country, come on, someone should talk to me. They should understand that the amalgamation of Nigeria, the incompatibility and everything they have done in Nigeria, oh, I'm sorry, these people actually know what they did because they don't want Nigeria to be stable. I hate to be talking about insecurity every day. I hate to be talking about, so many problems. I just want to proffer solutions. I just want to proffer solutions to the problem. So the solution is what we are talking about. Sharia can never exist continuously in Nigeria and you have peace in Nigeria, where Christians and non-Christians and everyone is being killed who violated the law. Imagine I told you the other day what happened in Kanu State, how my friend who is a Christian was detained. He's a Christian, but Sharia law detained him. So these are the issues we are talking about, and it has no place. It has no place. So it is the earlier the better people understand that Nigeria is not sustainable with all this kind of rubbish. All this kind of rubbish. My friend, wrote me this morning after our discussion. He's a Muslim. He said, Okocha, don't call Sharia law rubbish again in Nigeria. If my fellow Muslim, if they catch you, they will behead you. I say, do you not understand the reason why I am against it? So because I said this law doesn't make sense, you want to behead me? And this is the issue we are talking about, and it has no place in the society.